So this is Park Sabo in 1958. So Park Sabo is still alive. And then the Hyundai Art Association, they discontinued from 1963. But for about 8-9 years, they worked really hard to create that abstract style. So monochrome art. That informel became monochromatic art in the 70s. And then obviously there was a rebellion against that informal style abstract painting that is called 민중 미술. So they became a vocal opponent to formless art or abstract art. So 민중 미술 or postmodernism, they argue that the artwork should represent various people's lives. So you're going to see what their differences are. So Park Sabo is still alive. He was born in 1930. So you can see 1958, he was only 28 years old, right? So he still continues work. This year is what, 2020, right? He is 90 years old. So you can imagine he can live up to 2030s. He has another 10 more years of working. So this is his drawing. He always called his series as French word écriture, or that means drawing. And it's coming in monochrome, like a one color. Or like this, it's a beige color with a little bit of scribbled lines. So this is Park Sabo's écriture. So 1970s, people make abstract painting, but that abstract is usually one color. So that's why they call it monochrome, like a one color abstract painting. So Park Sabo is really, really successful. And then, contemporaneous to Park Sabo is Lee Woo-han, and he studied philosophy. So he either uses this kind of monochrome color or rock or stone kind of subject, objects to make his own sculpture. This is made of rock and then some cotton, and it's a relation. Vella tomb is a relation. That's what he created. So these are monochrome painting tradition, like a purely abstract and quite intelligent in their approaches. But if you keep doing this kind of work, then what happens is, what about ordinary citizens? They really alienated ordinary citizens. Imagine a 60-year-old grandmother coming to an art gallery and trying to look at this. She may think, what is this? Like a waste, right? Like, what is this rock doing in the gallery? It's not an artwork in her eyes. And also, Korea in 60s through 80s, they were living through military dictatorship. What does that mean? Military government can take any citizens for interrogation and not send them home, and people cannot protest. There was a suppression of human rights in order to maintain that national security against North Korea, and also in order to expedite economic development. There was hardly any recognition of human freedom, like human rights. So there you come these people called people's art or 민중 미술. These days we don't translate, you just say 민중 미술. So in a way, it's a little bit related to socialist realism. So art should be honest, and it should be relatable to experience of ordinary citizens. So this is hardworking farmers in the field, and this work is by Im Ok-sang. He was an advocate of this new style of 민중 미술. So what about this painting? Can this painting talk about experiences and lives of those hard-working farmers? No, like this is what you call a highbrow, right? People, high-rise office buildings or apartment buildings, and somebody who's shop a European design brands, and somebody who's driving a foreign car, they would appreciate this, right? Like art is non-representational. It's not about the people or farmers. But Im Ok-sang was a younger, like he was a lot younger than Park So-bo, for example. He's like a 15 years younger than Park So-bo. So for Im Ok-sang's age, like when he was coming of age in 1980s, he was like probably in his 30s. He could not understand the Park So-bo's or Hyundai artists' pursuit of abstract art. So he says it should be people's lives. So this one is people in wheat field, and you can see that farmers, they almost all look alike, different clothes, but they are sort of invisible. Their body is now part of the wheat field, right? It's their sweat and their tears, and that's what we are eating. Versus this one is called the Kim family after the Korean War. So Kim family, it's a family photographs based on the photographs. And after Korean War, these people, usually men, are either killed or lost during, like a child right here, for example, lost during the refugee years, or some older men were accused of a communist sympathizer, they were killed, right? So that after Korean War, you only have these many people left. Isn't it sad? So this is a celebration of these old couples, probably 60th birthday or something, but and then you don't talk about these people because they were accused of communist collaboration, so that family can be also under suspicion, so they don't talk about it. Like this like sisters, for example, their older brother was kidnapped and went to North Korea, but the family don't talk about this person as if he never existed. So in a way, it's also the nature of the Korean peninsula itself. It used to be one country. That's what we studied so far, right? Korea dynasty, Joseon dynasty, like what we studied in Korean art and civilization. But after 1945, we only talk about South Korea, because North Korea, it's a communist country, and then we don't have like a full access of information. So that is what they are saying. And then 1980s, from 1980s, Korean government really encourages that globalization. So that 1988, we had the Olympic Games. So in preparation of Olympic Games, South Korean government put a lot of effort on globalization. So they rediscovered this Korean-born artist called Baek Nam-jun. But Baek Nam-jun is more like an American citizen in a way. So he was rediscovered, and then his work was celebrated in Korea, and he's considered the father of video art. So he came to Korea from 1980s, and then he showed his TV robot like this. Baek Nam-jun originally studied music in Japan and also in Germany. He grew up in Germany. So in a way, it is an interesting question to ask whether is he really fully Korean? What does he know about Korea? His family left shortly before 1950 because they wanted to avoid the Korean War. Very, very wealthy family. They lived in Japan, and then Baek Nam-jun went to Germany to study music in 1970s. So there he met Fluxus and other German contemporary artists, so that he switched to multimedia art. He stopped composing, but he has a PhD in music history, an erudite man.